Good evening, everybody. I'm Gerald Mobbin, and I'm going to present a 6-minute speech on how to square most anything. It seems that in America today, almost everyone wants to be a do-it-yourselfer. So most folk will go to Home Depot, Lowe's, or 84 Lumber, and they'll buy a little project, a small storage building, a gazebo, or a landscaping component. And when they bring it home and open up the crate, they're like this guy. They realize that everything that we use must be squared up before it can be assembled properly. And then they're left standing there on how to get that done. Now we have several different ways of using the square or squaring up various projects. One, we could know the Pythagorean theorem, but that may not be readily available. Perhaps we don't have the calculator with all those little buttons and gadgets that are there to make that possible. Two, we could have an engineer's transit, which is this thing right here. Then we have to have experience, and perhaps we don't have that. So we'll have to throw the engineer's transit out the door. Three, we could have a carpenter's library, but those things are expensive, so you don't need the carpenter's library. Hang on. We could use a copy of Vector Mechanics for Engineers, Statics and Dynamics. Then we'd have to be an engineering student, or I could loan you my copy of that. Or three, we could own a copy of Modern Carpentry, but then we'd have to be a student and be at school, and perhaps we're not a student and at school. With all of those things in mind, we're going to say that all of those things are irrelevant in this, because squaring up almost anything is relatively a very simple process. All you need are two tools. One, you need a carpenter's framing square, and two, a ruler. We're going to take those two tools and we're going to turn them into a calculator, into an instrument which will give us the answers we need to take care of that small storage building, the gazebo, or that landscaping component. Now, the first thing that we have to keep in mind is that the carpenter's framing square is laid off in inches. And for conversation's sake, we're going to say that every one of those inches represents 1 foot. So what we're going to do is we're going to first scale down and then we'll scale up. On the back side of a carpenter's square, it's laid out in inches from the back side all the way up through 24 inches. On the bottom side of the blade, from 1 inch all the way to 16. On the inside, it's 1 inch to 14. And of course, on the inside of the body, it's 1 inch to 23 inches. Now, with that in mind, realizing that every one of those inch increments represents 1 foot, we have to remember we're scaling up using the carpenter's square. Then we need this. We need a common tape or a ruler. A ruler will do it if the computations are small enough. Now, if all of these represent feet, okay, we need to know how to break down those fractions into inches. So I have drawn here, right here, just a little example about how to do that. If every inch is equal to 1 foot, then every quarter would break that inch down into 3-inch increments of 3 at 1/4, 6 inches at 1/2, and 9 inches at 3/4. And let's say, for the sake of conversation and experience, that we have a building that is 12 feet wide and it's 16 feet long. And we bought it from Lowe's. And we brought it home and we must square up before we can start assembling all those pieces. Around the home somewhere, somebody usually has a square. We're going to say that 12 inches on the back side is our 12 feet. And that on the bottom side, 16 feet, of course, would be the full length of the square. Basing it upon this rule, we're going to take the rule and we're going to hold it one corner at 12 inches. And the other corner we're going to pull to to the 16th. The hypotenuse of a right angle, based upon 12 feet wide, 16 feet long, the hypotenuse would be 20 inches. So it would be 16 feet or 12 feet by 16 feet, and the hypotenuse would be 3 feet from corner to corner. Now, all we need is that same rule, 3 stakes, 1 piece of string. We take 1 stake, we drive it in the ground, we measure from that 1 stake 12 feet and drive the other. We tie a string around this point and a knot at exactly 16 feet. When we pull the hypotenuse with the ruler to that knot in that string, we will be exactly square. And that's how you square most anything. Thank you.